Hello everybody, Flik here, and welcome to a Let's Look At of Exogenesis Perils of Rebirth. This is by Quan Studio. They are based in the Philippines, I believe, although they do have a team made up of people from all over the place, including the UK and some other parts of Europe, I believe. It's a mixture between a visual novel style game and also kind of hybrids in some Ace Attorney-esque puzzle solving, some point and click puzzle solving. They also compared it to Zero Escape games. I'd say there might also be a bit of, what's that other series called that's on Vita that's quite popular? Danganronpa, I think. I keep on getting told to play it and I keep on never getting around to it because Phoenix Wright games are among my favourite on any handheld. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to check this out at the mention of being slightly similar. Also, the art style in the game is absolutely fantastic. It is massively high quality tier anime-esque art, and that really appealed to me as well. And it's something new. I've never really covered any kind of visual novel game on the channel, so that gave me a reason to. And I will point out from the get-go, before we jump into a new game rather than carrying on, because I don't want to spoil too much of the story, that the game does have a Kickstarter, and if you like what you're about to see, by all means check it out at the link in the description box below. One last warning, the opening of the game does have some graphic violence. It shows a character dying in a rather grotesque way, so if you're at all squeamish, you may either want to skip that part or just not watch. Consider yourself warned, and we'll jump in. Now, there's no voice acting, and as I say, it's a visual novel, so there's a lot of text. Now, normally if I'm playing by myself, and I've been playing for about an hour off camera, I'll obviously sit and read it, but I don't think you want to hear me read out every bit of dialogue, especially because I'm a little bit choked up with hay fever right now. I will summarise what is happening rather than reading out every single thing. So I will fast forward the text slightly by pressing enter on my keyboard as I talk. We are playing as you, one of a group of treasure hunters in a post-apocalyptic world, a world that got ruined by nuclear fallout, I believe, or nuclear war anyway. They are hunting for treasure, you and a group of friends. They find it, they think they've managed to disarm all the traps. Yu's sister runs to get what they're looking for, triggers one last trap which skewers her and puts her in the rather horrible position you see her in now, and if any of the spears or wires get removed, it triggers an explosion. So the rest of the group struggle to look around for a way to try and save her. They unfortunately can't find a way, and they have to leave her behind to die. And that is the setup before it skips ahead a little bit, and I'll give us a tutorial on the puzzle solving aspects of the game. So I don't want to sit and read too much, but needless to say, Yu is very worried, sad, angry, etc. that they were unable to save his sister from falling into that trap. They were overconfident perhaps, and that's the name of the group they had, the Durchhalten. I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce that word. But yeah, they were looking for the Kinkakuji, the golden dream, and it resulted in Miho dying. So, with her gone, the group disbanded. Yu blames himself for his sister dying. 2 years later, we are into a little kind of setup for the main first quest you get in the game. Again, I'm going to kind of fast forward a little bit because when you see a game as a visual novel, you know what you're getting into. You're getting into an interactive story. But what sets Exogenesis apart a little bit is the puzzle solving aspects. So that's why I'm going to fast forward, but obviously the point of the game is not to really fast forward the story. You need to get invested in the characters, otherwise you don't give a rat's ass what happens. And the story is done okay so far, at kind of getting me drawn in. There's a lot of anime tropes, I would say, which you may either like or dislike, including, say, the hyper-sexualization of female characters, for instance. Or there is actually some in-jokes as well. Like, for example, I think I may have already skipped past it, but Toshio here is using a hacking device he's made called the King Key, and Yu finds it disturbing that he's named his thing. If you say the name too fast, you get the joke. I thought that was quite funny. But anyway, what Toshio and Yu are doing here 2 years after his sister's death is they are investigating a strange device they found which exploded when someone tried to take it, and yet the device itself remained. And from that they find information about something called the Ark, or Noah's Ark, I can't quite remember, it's the Ark something or other, which apparently has the ability to turn back time. And Yu gets obsessed with this because he wants to bring his sister back from the dead. And then we'll kind of skip ahead to the present day in which we actually play the game in. So yes, there is actually a skip at the bottom here. I'm not entirely sure if it will skip the whole cutscene or not, because I don't want to accidentally skip the intro, because there's a very anime-esque intro that I was impressed with as well. So yep, Ah, that's what it's called. It is called Noah's Ark. Yes, so apparently it can turn back time, and he wants to use it specifically to save his sister's life. And I suppose I can go over some facts about the game that Quan Studio put on their Kickstarter, in that the game is roughly going to be 20 hours long, spanning 6 chapters or so with multiple endings. This is us into the tutorial now, by the way, so I might kind of read it out from this point on a little bit. And this demo that I'm playing is publicly available via the Kickstarter, by the way, if you want to play it all, see where it goes. Apparently the demo itself lasts 3 or 4 hours, so I actually thought I was getting quite close to where the demo would be ending off camera. Turns out nope. Turns out I'm not even halfway, so there's a lot here. So anyway, you saying where am I? And then we get the tutorials. In this world you interact by clicking on objects. Fairly simple. I have to click on the light to turn it on. You awakes to find himself in a room, and we basically to work out how to get out of the room, and we can turn the camera and look around here. So obviously I've done this before, so I know the solution. So if you're not really happy with seeing me solve puzzles quicker than you would normally if you were new to it, again, you might want to skip ahead a little bit or whatever if you don't want to spoil the solution. But we can also just investigate stuff that isn't particularly relevant. You saying, is this a dolphin or is it a whale? I've only seen the ocean in pictures, so I wouldn't know. And if we look here, we have a diary with some missing pages. And they're written by Yu's sister, and she found out what emoticons were, and so she likes putting them in her diary pages. So we'll take all the pages that we can find currently, and they get added to our inventory. It tells us we can open up the inventory up here, which we can. We can also combine in items in our inventory from here, and we can also look at profiles of people we meet. Rather, it's not who we are, it's information about other characters you meet, so that you can perhaps find the solution to puzzles regarding, say, convincing them to help you based on some facts you picked up about their personality. So I believe we can also open this drawer here to get, yep, not a teleporter, a hologram, but it doesn't have a battery. And that's all we can grab from here, I believe. We're to collect a bunch of diary pages. That's the first main thing. So they're very obvious, scattered throughout the environment. So I'm just going to pick those up. If you want to read them, pause when I open it. It's very kind of private and personal things from Miho's diary. There's a hammer here that we want, but it's blocked behind a little colour-coded door. Very stereotypical puzzle there. Now where's the other diary pages? We've got one stuck to someone's face on the picture there. She's lamenting that Yu has been reading her diary. Or at least she thinks he has. And that's a picture of all the crew there. Where are we in that picture? That's not us, that's not us. That's us at the back there, I think. That's the tech guy we're with at the start. And some other characters that you can find detailed on the Kickstarter page also. Now we're going to look under the pillow. And there's yet another diary page. Notice that the diary pages are all different colours, by the way. That is relevant. We've got something over here, but unfortunately it's boarded up, so we can't get into it. And there's something very obviously shining in the floor. We find a battery for the hologram. So what we can do now is go into our inventory and do some very basic combination here. Or combining, rather, not combination. There, but we don't activate it just yet. So now I think we have all the diary pages. And we can put them into the diary. So we're going to actually remove that one. Now you might think that you put the diary pages in correct order date-wise. And that's what I thought as well. Because when I also looked over here, if you look at the colour-coded door here, not door, panel. Yeah, can I actually get a highlight of the panel yet? Alright, he's saying there, yeah, there's a bunch of coloured buttons and they just so happen to correspond to the diary pages. So I thought, right, simple, easy first puzzle. I just align the diary pages and the dates they were written, and then that's obviously the code to get to the hammer. That's not actually the case. It goes a bit deeper than that. What you actually want to do is, if you look at the bottom right of the pages here, do you see what I mean? There's a little drawing that steadily grows. It's a flower blooming. So you don't actually put them in the order in which they were written, you put them in the order in which the picture kind of progresses. So we want that one to be page 2. I'm also not sure if the puzzle solutions randomize each time. I wrote down the solution to one of the puzzles, so I'll be curious to see if it actually ends up being the same. Did I put that one first? Oh, I did that one too soon, I think. Let's remove that and put in the purple one. Insert, and then it's the blue one, I think. Yep. And then it'll be that one. So we'll go to page 4, insert that, and then we'll insert the yellow one there. So I think that's right. So that's red, purple, blue, green, red, purple, blue, green. No, red, purple, blue, green. Red, purple, blue, green, yellow. There we go. So now we can nab the hammer. And with the hammer, we are able to take out those, but we need to make it our active item, I believe. So there we go, it's our active item. And behind there, we found a very strange looking brooch of sorts. In pristine condition apparently, and it's Miho's brooch, although Yu doesn't seem to recognise that. I'm not entirely sure if this is dream sequence, by the way. So if we go into our inventory, we can combine the holographic projector with that, and we get to see something else happen. It's the Kinkuji, the thing they were looking for when Miho died, and you'll notice that some of the letters are blanked out, so this is actually the solution to the door code. You pay attention to which letters are missing, so that's an I, that's a A, that's a U, and that's a J. And then you look at the board here, and there's a bunch of ciphers, and you can actually match up each letter that was missing from that Kinkuji to a number on here. So I'm not actually going to pay attention to that, I'm just going to go straight to putting in the door code that I wrote down earlier to see if the puzzles change solutions or not. If it'll let me. Yes, it will. So assuming it's the same every time, that should be the solution. It was indeed. Right, so the puzzles don't randomize solutions. That's actually a thing I would recommend doing if the developers are paying attention to some feedback at this point. Why? Because it stops people doing a cheat sheet. And I think that's important for a puzzle game. I know people like just, you know, ruining whole games for themselves, but when it's a puzzle game, that's really not the point. I mean, I suppose in a game like this where there's also a story in the background, you might just care only about the story. Still, I would have, like, say, a pool of solutions for puzzles where there's like color-coded numbers or door codes, etc. Just so that an online guide doesn't get completed 10 minutes after the game gets released. But, you know, maybe that's just me. But still, we got out, and once we leave this door here, we're going to see the intro to the game, so I'm going to be quiet during it and let you enjoy it. So there we go. I'm not sure if all visual novel game type things are to the high standards this is, but if they are, I might want to play more. Because it isn't really a genre of game I've ever played. I know of them, and I know of the rather stereotypical look down the nose at opinion most people have of them. Like, for example, that they're just all slash fiction, or they're all about vampires and dating a vampire and crap like that. Well, this is very clearly not in that style, although it does fall into certain anime-esque tropes, as I said prior. Now, we're going to carry on here a little bit. I do have a stopping point in mind, kind of like the end of this opening chapter. There's also something I want to try that I didn't do on my first playthrough, and I'm curious what happens. So we're definitely going to go that far because I'm genuinely curious if things play out differently. I'll explain more when we get that far. So there's a recruitment poster there for a group called Iron Will. We're just going to fast forward that. We're going to get into a conversation. Yu's here years later with this information about the Ark that he found, trying to recruit the old treasure hunting team in order to find this Ark to resurrect his dead sister, or to turn back time so that she's still alive before they ever went to try and get it, I guess. So his friend owns this pub, although we can try and have a little conversation with some of these other guys. And do you see what I mean about the really, really high quality art? I mean, this is really... some animes wish that they looked as good as some of the art in this game. Can I have a talk to this drunk guy here? Either that or he's just very bashful, who knows. Take a seat, drown your sorrows with us. No thank you. And then there's a sober patron who says, don't scare me. Okay. Yeah, I mistakenly ran into a murder scene. It's not one yet, but if you don't shut your hole. I do actually have a weapon, by the way. I do have a katana, or whatchamacallit, the smaller type of katana. I can't remember the name of. I need to check now, or I'll never remember. Tanto, that was it. I also talk to this guy here who seems obsessed with his knife, but I don't think he says anything. Well, he says, "What are you looking at?" But that's it. Not too talkative. He's too busy staring. He loves the blade of that knife. And we can go back and we can talk to this crestfallen guy over here. I don't think he actually says anything though. Sorry, I'm too sad to talk right now. He's a gloomy patron. That's a shame. Still, it's a wasteland, so it's not surprising. But if we turn the camera this way, this is who we're actually here to see, a member of the old team. Remember, where our goal is to convince him to join us in our slightly bizarre sounding quest of resurrecting someone from the dead. So he's EG, I assume, or AG, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. The voice of reason. Actually, one thing that does semi-bug me is that you and everybody else refers to this guy as like the old guy, the old sensible member of the team who's a lot older than the rest of them. He looks just as young as the rest of them. But still, I mean, yeah, sure, he's got a little bit of a bag under each eye, but that does not make him old. Still, we'll fast forward a bit more, and if it actually bugs you that I'm fast forwarding all the text, it's because I want to show off more of the puzzle solving aspects, as I said, and some of the events that can take place. And this demo is obviously available to everybody, so by all means go try it out for yourself and enjoy the story. I'm already kind of saying secondhand to you now, I've been intrigued by the story, I've been involved, I'm paying attention to it in my off-camera game that I've started. It's just that for the purpose of the video, you don't want me sitting here reading out every single word because there is a lot of text. It's a visual novel. There's a lot of it. Apparently the full game has over 100,000 lines, so that should tell you that is it 100,000? They quoted a number on their Kickstarter. It was a lot, but I can't remember offhand now. So yeah, I'm going to fast forward this a lot actually, because he goes on, he just thinks you're nuts, and you can try and convince him. So you do get a couple of conversation options, but he basically just doesn't give a rat's ass what you think. He thinks you're insane, he just tells you to drop it, thinks you're drunk, even though you think that you found proof during that kind of initial flashback. So we can actually, we've got his profile, so I can show that off. There's his profile. One of the founding members of the Durchalton. If I can recruit him, I'm sure everything else will fall into place. So that's it's both a profile of him and also our goal. And we can also find some more information out about him later, and that's kind of like the main purpose of this part. So we can speak to him about what we've discovered about the Ark so far. And he basically just says it's propaganda made by this kind of semi-religious cult that offers safety to people with a certain chip implanted in their arm, and we're playing as one such person who has a chip in their arm. And they kind of like protect the masses from raiders and this other rival group of rebels. This is him getting especially angry because we're talking about bringing people back from the dead, and it's absolute nonsense. Or in his opinion, it's absolute nonsense. Sanctus, that's the religious group, and I think it's MCR is the rebel group. I think no, GPA. I don't know, something like that. Haven't had any run-ins to them yet. So we could technically keep on asking him about this stuff. I'll ask him about the Imperium as well, about his bar. He's saying it's a okay, safe area to kind of run a bar because there's a Sanctus base building, one of the two, very nearby. We'll be paying a visit there next. And people don't mind getting drunk. There is some bad language in the text. I mean actually swearing, I don't mean it's written poorly. So if that puts you off, it's something to consider. Now I don't think we have any other options, do we? Oh, we do, we have the package we found, of course. But he doesn't believe us, even though we say that we found a package, and the kind of the tech genius of our group says it's legit, but nope. The GPA, that's who it is. And if it isn't obvious because I've been fast forwarding it, text that's in italics is kind of narration or observations that you is making on whoever he's looking at or talking to. And text is just written in normal font like that. Excuse the dog barking, there's a lot of noise outside today. I shouldn't open my window, but it's roasting. Summer weather is both a nice thing and a hindrance. But still, what's going to happen here is we're going to finish talking to AG here, and we're basically going to be crestfallen and give up because we can't convince him. He's too serious, he doesn't believe a word we're saying, and he hates us as a result. So we leave, and then we'll get another bit of a story event. After that, we're going to move on to the thing which I want to see plays out, or if it plays out in a different way depending on some choices we make, because I'm curious. People die, blah blah blah, right, we get kicked out. So we get a call from a childhood friend, or not a childhood friend, a friend from the same group. And she believes us instantly, for whatever reason. I guess she's more trusting, and She suggests on how we can convince EG on joining us. She suggests that there's two ways to do it. Either we kind of play up the idea that we used to be friends by kind of helping out around the bar with any bar problems he's having, or try and be a bit more shady by finding out some buttons you can push to manipulate him into helping you a little bit. So I'm not sure if that literally corresponds to two possible outcomes of how you do the solution, but it gives you two, or at least it suggests two avenues that you can pursue to reach your goal of convincing EG to help you in this quest for the Ark. And they're still talking, because obviously there is a lot of talking, but I did kind of wrap up their entire conversation. There is a skip button. I want to test if it skips the whole conversation. Oh, bloomin' hell, it does it really, really fast. That's actually not too shabby. Right, so we have a new goal, but we're going to go find the Sanctus base first. Now this is where I want to see how things differ depending on your choices. So there's a Sanctus base right around the corner. Yu's wanting to go there to get a safe bed for the night. Because he has the chip in his arm, he'll be allowed in without any complaints. But as you're about to move, yeah, this happens. Hey, someone says, wait. He heard footsteps fast approaching from behind him. The man eventually caught up to him and was now struggling to catch his breath. Have you seen two guys run past here? Well, last time I said no because I didn't see any, so I'm just going to say no again so far because that's the truth. Are you kidding? I was right on their tails. You sure you didn't see them? Maybe they passed you while you were busy daydreaming. I can say come to think of it, or I didn't see anything. I'm going to say come to think of it this time. What did they do? They... Oh god, I can't. Those scumbags are despicable. Tell you what, my friend is waiting back there. You should come with me. I'll fill you in, and in exchange you gotta tell us what you saw. Capiche? So, because he looks really shady and he was trying to order me around, I instantly thought this smelled of some kind of trap. And I still think it is. But I'm very curious what happens if you go along with this guy, because I think he and his friend is basically going to try and mug you. That's my guess of what is going to happen. I'm just curious if there's any kind of fighting or whatever, so let's say yes, sure, and see what happens. Like a good Samaritan, you followed the stranger. They stopped a block away where they were met by another man. He also looks exceptionally shady. Did you get them, bro? Who's this guy? The pricks got away. This dude must have seen them. I didn't, though. Might be able to tell us where they went or what they looked like. That's great, thank you. You have to catch those goons. They are friend she. Maya, please stop. I'm busy. I'm sorry, but this is really hard on us. The man walked over to his friend, who looked like he was on the verge of tears and could barely even speak coherently. Hey, come here, man. We don't want anyone else to hear what happened to our friend. Come closer so we can tell you. You step forwards. Stop, don't move. He has a weapon. Well, of course I do. Who walks around without one? Sorry, brother. He's just a bit jumpy right now. We're in a bit of a rough patch, you know. You get me? Yeah, sure. I'm not going anywhere. I wonder if Oh, he wants me to get rid of my weapon now. Yeah, this is very obviously, I wonder if I can actually die if I give over my weapon. Will it just end the game? I really don't want that to happen, but... Right, so, I already said I think this is a trap. I think this might actually reach an end state, possibly, if we give over my only weapon. I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah, I will. I can show off some more talking and whatnot on my save file. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we just got killed. That's what I thought would happen. Before he could take another step, he heard the sound of a blade slicing through flesh. Looking down, he saw the tip of his own panto protruding from his stomach. A sharp numbing pain quickly overcame him, accompanied by the burning sensation radiating from the wound itself. Suddenly everything made sense. These criminals had never existed in the first place. He would have seen them. The real criminals were these two men who had successfully lured him into their very, very obvious trap. In the world where survival of the fittest was the law of the land, he couldn't really blame them. It was really his own fault for not being careful enough. He chose to spend his final moments thinking of Miho, who he would never meet again. Game over. That's what I thought. I'm curious what would happen if you resisted at the final minute. Would you kill them? I should have saved it just before that event happened, actually. What we'll do is we'll go to... If I do load, continue. Alright, it puts us back at the bar. That's not too bad. Right, well, I want to see how this will play out again. Is this before or after I spoke to him? Right, yeah, we're going to have to... Oh, no, wait, no, this is after we spoke to him. Fine. So I think we can leave. Oh, wait, this is loaded my save. This is my other file, because the waitress is only there when you come there on the second night. Okay, well, it looks like I can't get back to that event, unfortunately. So this is on my other save file where I'm currently trying to work out how to convince EG to assist me. So I wonder if anyone else is actually going to talk tonight. Let's have a quick conversation with two and then we'll kind of wrap up here. Oh, he's feeling better. He looks happier. Oh, no, apparently no, he's still gloomy. Yeah, I'm dandy. He doesn't look it. I hope that was sarcasm. I'm blue. I get it. How about you? I'm you. Oh, I see. I'm blue. How about... Oh my god, the wordplay. What? I do enjoy wordplay. I don't enjoy the creepy laughing for 3 text. Yeah, Maya is literally right behind me right now, looking at my window, barking at anybody going past the window. Nobody cares, Maya. Nobody doesn't... No, don't look at me like that. I'm trying to play a visual novel game. Want to hear a joke? Yes, I actually do want to hear a joke. Where did otters come from? From underground? Otters came from... out outer space. I guess so. I'll be going now if you don't mind. See you later. He's a little creepy. Looks like you're not so blue after all. Well, whatever. I get it. I've got more important things to do. Profile has been updated. Oh yeah, so we do actually have a profile on this guy. What does it say about him? Profile. He's a bad joke machine. At least the jokes are free. Okay, fair enough. I will kind of start doing my wrap up here then. I didn't mean to get us killed in the... I thought that's how it was going to go, so I thought, you screw it, I'll see if there's end states you can reach in the game. So you should probably save often. Quickest way to save, just right click on your mouse and then you get instantly sent to the save screen. So it's very, very quick. There's also a quick save button. I find pressing right click easier than scrolling down to there, but that's just me. Yes, so... as we see if Knifeman has anything to say to us today, I will once again remind you all that this has been Exogenesis Perils of Rebirth by Quan Studios. There is a Kickstarter. At time of me recording this, they've been going for about a week and they've already got a quarter-ish of their funding that they're looking for. Most of the funding is to go into additional art, additional animations, sound, etc. The sound, the music in the game, very impressive. I like it a lot. And it just seems like a lot of care has gone into it. Visual novels aren't exactly a gaming genre that I'm familiar with, but if they are all to this standard, as I was saying earlier, then maybe I'll check out a few more, because this one has impressed me. It helps that I'm into anime and manga, you know. I mean, if you're not, then you might get put off, but at least it doesn't fall into the visual novel tropes that kind of are stereotypes that I'm sure we've all heard of at one point or another. So, are you going to say anything to me today, Knifeman? And if I forgot to say, the link is in the description box below, though I think I opened by saying that, so that's fine. He looks like the lone wolf type. Good, we can relate. But he doesn't seem violent. He doesn't seem violent, he's got a knife! I need every lead I can get. I'll just take a seat right here. Yeah, maybe he's a tsundere. I smiled awkwardly. Well, you smiled awkwardly to the patron across the table. The only response he got was a piercing glare and an ice cream van in the background, if you can hear it. Summer, man! And bring on winter. You casually rested his arms on the table, unsure of how to open a conversation. A small knife flew swiftly through the air, landing close enough to graze Yu's skin. The two men glared intensely at each other. Could have torn your arm right off. I find that hard to believe. I don't think so. Someone else's blood would have hit the floor first. The attacker retracted his weapon and smirked. Sharp eye. You don't know that, but what's your name? Seiyoshi. Alright, so that's his full name, I guess. Right. Oh, I do actually get some Man of Respect, Knife Skill, Regular Patron. Man of Respect. You look like the type who respects strength. Sanctus has been making a lot of heads roll lately. His knife is called Darla. Okay, well I've figured that out without having to ask about it, I guess. Now I'm distracted by actually reading the text. I do read quite quickly though, so it's not too bad. Alright, so I find him to be a little bit creepy. Stabbing drunk loudmouths in the face of carving your name out in their on their eyeballs. Nice. Is that a parody of, what was his name, Guido from Phoenix Wright? The guy with the LaForge glasses. Although Phoenix drank coffee like that once too. Free drinks! better to get a free bear than take a bullet to the head. Yeah, I suppose so. Right, so he knows about the group, that's interesting. Interesting. Okay, so there's a dark past with EG that I have to discover, and then maybe I can blackmail him into helping us. So we have got him here. Oh, he looks drunk there, but not there. That's interesting. A knife wielding regular, greets people with a butterfly knife to the face. He knows something about EG but won't spill it. So maybe you have to get him drunk, like that picture there might imply, and maybe he'll spill the beans then. Still. Also, there's this weird maid, and apparently she gets made to wear that outfit by him, so I don't know whether that's something weird or what. Yeah. So we didn't really achieve much, other than a lot of talking and getting ourselves murdered, but I think that's going to wrap up this look at. You can get this demo for yourself. It's apparently 3 or 4 hours long, so there's definitely a lot here to let you see for yourself whether Exogenesis Perils of Rebirth is for you. I'm impressed. I'm probably going to play on a little bit, see where it goes. And I just realized, I've just noticed that looks kind of like a dinosaur bone face. Ignore me, I noticed stuff like that, I can't help it. So yes, thank you for watching. Once again, links to the Kickstarter where you can also pick up this build is in the links below. In the description below, I mean. And my name has been Flik. Thank you for watching. Ta-ta for now.